Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Countdown to Oscar, where we take a look at Academy Award-nominated films and see if they're worthy of the title Best Picture. And today we're looking at something everybody knows. It's Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm last to the party on this. And I gotta say, I think the hype train kind of killed this movie for me. I think it's good. I think it's a lot of fun, but it's certainly not the best picture of the year. It might crack my top 20, but I wouldn't put it much higher than that. So don't get me wrong here. People jacking into alternate versions of their lives to learn Kung Fu Matrix style into dimensions where they have sausage fingers and there's googly-eyed rocks, and where you can have epic fight scenes where somebody can battle with a fanny pack and still be kind of cool. That's a lot of fun. And I like the idea of, there's an infinite version of realities. There's a version where you became a concert pianist, or there's a version where you learned Kung Fu, etc., etc., etc. So you can learn skills by temporarily jacking into different worlds and taking the abilities of your other lives. That's cool, but I see a lot of sci-fi, and I'm used to the concept of alternate realities. So while this might feel novel to your basic movie-going audience, for me it's nothing really new or special, and this is done kind of basically here. There's a little bit of funness to it, but it's not. You'd have to go a little bit farther than that to really impress me. It's fun, but it kind of attempts to do too much. It really is in the comfort zone when it's just being silly and goofy, and you're having fight scenes where people have to, they become better fighters by shoving random objects up their butt. And there's an in-universe reason for why that works. That's fun. And the fight scenes and the choreography are a lot of fun, well done, and the action is very clear. When it reaches for the dramatic, that's kind of where this movie falls apart. It kind of reaches for bigger emotion than it actually really sets up, and that's a lot of the problem. One of my main problems is the villain. She's fun in concept. She experiences every reality all at once, like in the title. So she becomes a nihilist because she experiences every reality. She's basically Rick Sanchez. Again, this picture isn't that original. So you can kind of understand her plight, experiencing everything that would be sensory overwhelm. So her wanting to kind of end her life and seek oblivion, that's interesting. They make a point of pointing out that because she exists in every reality, she can't really die. If she dies in one reality, she still exists in a billion others. So it would have been interesting if her evil villain scheme was to, say, kill every version of herself in every reality so that she could have some peace. That would actually be interesting, and that would actually have some philosophical conflict. The movie doesn't approach this subject in any real way. At the end, the one person who's experiencing everything all at once, she just kind of dies and everything resets, and there's a happy ending for some reason. There's a lot of missed opportunities. There's a lot of things with the rules and power sets that don't make a lot of sense and are never explained. Why do they need the headset to jack into other dimensions, and sometimes they don't? How can people pull objects in from other dimensions? How can people give people memories of themselves in other dimensions? None of this is really explained, which wouldn't matter if this movie just stuck in goofy, silly territory. That's where it's best at. But at the end, it's really reaching for emotions. You get the sense that the movie is about familial pain, how we give pain to our family members and our spouses, and how a lot of times these people are people who just kind of fall into our lives and we fall into their lives. And what does that really mean? And what does it mean when there's a lot of realities where you made a different choice to be with a different person or to go on a different path and you still ended up really happy? What does that mean for the things that you choose? That's an interesting idea. It's not really explored. The movie in the first third is firmly about the husband and wife. There's a divorce paper that's signed. You can see that there's conflict there. And again, they look at that concept a little bit of, there are other dimensions where I'm happier without you. Again, this was a Rick and Morty episode, nothing too original, but at least it's something there. You really think it's going to be about the husband and wife getting together or deciding to be apart or coming to some resolution about their life together. And a lot of that is bolstered by the fact that Michelle Yeoh and Short Round have a lot of chemistry. It's great to see Short Round back here. He steals the show for me. I love his voice. It's so interesting and colored. It can be really light and sweet, but it can also kind of go into this gravelly area where Alpha Short Round is being really cool. It's a lot of fun. He does a lot here to really elevate this character and really elevate this material. And Michelle Yeoh bounces off of him really, really nicely. So I really wanted it to be about them. But then by kind of the halfway point, it switches over to the main conflict is between Michelle Yeoh and her daughter. And it just doesn't have the same impact because we're not really given the same struggles. There's some familial bickering, but you never feel like, oh, this is a relationship that won't survive in the same way you do with the husband and the wife. It shifts focus and it's really weird. And at the end, it's really reaching for dramatic moments. You get these slow-mo sequences and this big overblown dramatic score, and everything is just pounding and everybody is just acting their hearts out, reaching for these emotions which just aren't set up and so aren't really earned. And the last half of the movie crawls to a grind. It just keeps going and going and going, and it's just so much overwrought, overdramatic emotion, and the movie just can't handle that. The movie is a visual spectacle. It looks great. There's so many fun editing decisions where you'll see actions in one universe flip over into another, and it happens right on the beat, right on the cut of some impact happening on screen. This is particularly effective in fight scenes where you see characters fighting in different dimensions. On the punch, they'll flip into the same set of characters but alternate versions of themselves fighting in another dimension. The lighting and visual effects really help sell this. Of course, the costume design, a lot of these characters are kind of cartoony and over the top, particularly Jaimie-Lee Curtis's character, who's kind of this frumpy IRA agent and who becomes kind of a fighter, and it's really kind of fun and interesting. And of course the bad guy is all about switching and having elaborate costumes all over the place, so it's a lot of fun to look at. It really is a visual spectacle. I don't slight the movie for trying to have some emotional core. I think you need to, but it doesn't have focus. Ironically enough, it's a movie about a character who is unfocused and the unfocus of living in multiple realities, and it itself is not focused. They should have just stuck with, this is either a story about the mother and the daughter, or the mother and the husband, or the mother and the grandfather. It's spread out over too many different things. It doesn't make the rules clear enough, and the end just crawls. There's emotional weight they're going for that really isn't there, and I think this could have been tied up in a much more satisfying package. It didn't need to be the most original movie. It could have just done this concept with a little bit more polish, and I would have really, really loved the movie. But as it is, I liked it. It was fun. I had fun watching it. It was quite funny, and there were a couple of lines that really made me think, yeah, that's kind of a nice reflection on life. So there is a bit of something there. As it stands, I would give this movie a 73%, kind of a B-. It's pretty good, but it's not great, and it's certainly not the best picture